grade. Welcome to reading class. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and we are going to finish the novel May Be. Oh, and I promise you this is by far the best section of the book. I feel like this entire journey we've taken with May Be, we've watched her struggle and go through all these different conflicts, both internal and external, and dealing with all these different characters. And now it is finally going to come to a head where we're going to find out what happens. So I'm super excited about this. So first things first, we are going to be working on reading pages 198 to 211 and then 212 to 225. I will work on this with you in the video, and you're going to do that independently. I will also walk you through the WOW worksheet that is in your packet. I'm not going to do the entire thing with you, but I'll do quite a bit with you so that you understand how to complete the assignment. So before we get going with doing pages 198 to 211 together, we need to make a prediction for this section. So I was looking at, as I was reviewing this for today, we take a look, and I think in the last section, May actually dug herself out of the sadi. So now she is heading out. What should we predict? Will she meet the wolf? Remember, there was a wolf that she felt was trying to look for her, or trying to get at her. Will she meet the wolf out there in the woods or not? So I'm going to predict May will see the wolf on her way home. And I'm just going to put summary here so I don't forget. Well, for one thing, will she see the wolf, and will she even make it home? Remember, this is in the middle of a snowstorm, and I don't think she isn't even quite sure about which direction she's supposed to go. But she knows she can't stay there anymore. So let's start on page 198, and please follow along as I read to page 211. Oh, this is like such a great part of the book, so I hope you enjoy it. I walked toward the morning sun, glancing over my shoulder at the mound of snow, that is, the sadi. Soon, it is impossible to say what is house and what is prairie. There's no creek to guide me, nothing is familiar, but I push forward still. Ma's dainty boots don't make walking easy, but I am grateful for their cover. Ice slips into the place I left unbuttoned, and I tug one sock and try to fasten a few buttons more. There, just to my right, paw prints in the snow. Oh, it's the wolf. He's still out here. Was he separated from his pack? Is he the weak one? Has he eaten since the storm? I secure the pillowcase within the bodice of the red dress. The quilts folded over my coat, wrapped from shoulders to elbows. My threadbare armor. I grip the broom handle in both hands, ready. So she's walking. She sees the tracks. So she's got her broom handle and she's just walking, and as she's walking, she's looking, because if she sees it, she is ready to go after the wolf, because she's like, I am going home. The sun is higher now in the eastern sky. A horse and sleigh have been through recently. I'm unsure where these tracks came from or where they lead. But I can tell someone's traveled in two directions, has doubled back. I stay with the sleigh tracks until they turn north, away from home. I could follow, try to catch up, but I won't. I'm going home. It's dangerous, but it's what I've chosen, and I gather strength from knowing this. I lift each boot, try to plunge it deep into the snow again, a high-step march that hardly travels forward. The broom handle is my cane, my forehead burns. My chemist, drenched with sweat, is a frigid layer against my skin. I remember when we first started the book, and I remember my first question was, what's a chemist? And I don't know if I told you that, I might have told you, but if I haven't, just to remind you, a chemist is kind of like if you wear like an undershirt or something that a girl would wear underneath her dress, okay? So that would be what she's wearing underneath everything, like the layer you wear underneath. And so she says, my chemist, drenched with sweat, is a frigid layer against my skin. And no matter how much snow I suck, my stomach isn't tricked. So what she's saying is she's trying to drink the snow, trying to make her stomach feel full, and her stomach isn't, because she hasn't eaten in a very long time. She's eaten little bits, but not enough. Wolf, show your face. This would be an easy fight for you. So she's saying, I'm feeling weak. So Wolf, if you show up, you're probably gonna win. When the sun is behind me, I rest for a bit. The quilt is both my shawl and cushion. Even though I've traveled since just after daybreak, I feel no closer to my home, and I can't possibly know exactly where home is. The quilt is soaked through, but I'm not yet ready to start again. The western horizon, both blue and white, is so bright it's hard to look at long. The only tracks I see are my own. I rock for warmth, pulling the quilt about me like a hood. What if this is the end? What if I fought my way from that prison for nothing, just to die out here? Tears freeze to my eyelashes as I stumble to my feet, which are weighty as sacks of flour. My legs are wet from stockings to bloomers. So she, again, bloomers, underwear. So what she's feeling right now is everything is sticking to her. She's sweaty because she's just got layers upon layers, and she's just walking because she's trying to protect herself. But she doesn't even know where she's going. My shadow extends long before me. If I'm not home soon, I will not last the night. Finally, I turn, face the western sky, and watch the sun sink lower, lower. It is gone. I must move while there's still light. I stamp my feet to rouse them. Pain shoots through my toes. A promise. I'm still living. So it's interesting here. She looks at pain as a good thing, because pain is showing her that she's still alive. I trudge toward the purple darkness and turn sometimes to see if the sunlight has taken pity on me, if it might wait to see me home, but it is well beyond that imaginary place where the sky meets land, the only light just a memory of this day. Do I see or hear it first? The shadow where the sun once was, distant bells, the unsure step of a horse's hooves, battling the snow? So she hears something. Someone is there. I'm certain now. I try to run, trip on Mrs. Oblinger's quilt, crash to the ground, but I'm up again. Hello, hello! My voice is firm, like I've used it every day. I flap my arms and the quilt unfurls. So she has this quilt over her, and she's going like this, and then the quilt just gets thrown off. Now the sleigh bells ring clearly. Over here, I say. A sleigh is steering toward me. The horse slows and stops. May Betterly? I'm May, I say, and reach forward. A firm hand grasps my wrist. Miss Betterly? The stranger says. Are you all right? I've seen nothing move for so long, save grass pushing at my feet, clouds, rabbits, this endless blowing snow, and this is a person. He settles me in his sleigh, pulls a buffalo robe around me. In the moonlight, I make out the man's blue muffler, a hat pushed low on his brow, his eyes. I have seen them before. I'm John Chapman, he says. I helped Mr. Oblinger with his floor. The neighbor who brought the wood. If Ma could see me, she'd tell me to remember my manners. How do you do, Mr. Chapman? He nods to me. How do you do? Yay! You found her. Do you remember him? He's a minor character, so we don't hear much about John Chapman. But remember when Mr. Oblinger was working on his floor for Mrs. Oblinger, trying to get the house, everything nice and ready for her? That was the neighbor that helped. And so now he found May, and he's going to bring May home. Isn't that fantastic? And I am not going to read the rest of it, because guess what? You have to read that second section to find out what happens. Isn't this a great ending? I love it. All right, so summary. We want to summarize what happened. May never got a chance to see the wolf. Thank goodness for that. So May is walking home. She sees a sleigh. The driver is John Chapman. Can you imagine the relief she must have felt to just be on that sleigh with another person, a familiar face, and someone who's trying to help her after months being by herself and trying to figure everything out? How awesome is that? All right, so now we need to move on with our other strategies. I want to just make sure I get all of them in. I know you probably know them all by heart by now. Okay, but so we had predict, summarize. Let us connect. I have been relieved when someone helped me. I think when a teacher helped me. Now, I don't know if I've ever felt the type of sadness and dismay and loneliness that May felt, but man, just to have that type of relief when someone actually reaches out and helps you and you're like, oh, and the weight is off of your shoulders. How great is that? So I think that I have felt that way before. So we have connect, evaluate, I am so glad that May took a chance. Because I wonder, and again, you'll have to find out when you read the next section. I put down, I am so glad that May took a chance to go home. I mean, this is huge. She has no idea where she's going. And she's walking, and she's talking about her mom's dainty boots. Those boots that her mom gave her were probably dress boots. They were not snow boots. They were more, she wanted her to look nice and proper working at this home. She never anticipated that she would be using these boots to walk through the snow and try to find her way home. So she took a chance, and it paid off, because it did. She ran into John Chapman, and you'll find out more about why and what happened with them. What happened to the Oblingers? That's my question. Where were they? I mean, and how did they not make it back? All right, so in addition to that, we had predict, summarize, connect, evaluate, question, and then we visualize. I wish I could, let me see, what could I draw? I think what I want to do is draw a picture. I'm assuming that her hair is probably shorter, because remember, she cut it when she was really frustrated. So this is May. I drew a picture of her smiling because John Chapman found her. So this is my section for pages 198 to 211. Remember, you are going to do one for 212 to 225. Now, in addition to that, you also need to do the wow page in your packet. Okay, I am going to walk you through about half, a little over half of this, then I'm going to leave the rest of it up to you. So if you could turn and get that out. And it talks about every good novel has at least one scene that is really memorable. Which scene most wowed you? Well, this is the scene that I think is the most wow scene out of the entire book. So I really wanted to make sure that we highlight this because I feel like she's been struggling, and all of a sudden it's like this is the turning point that changes the whole story. So hopefully you have all of that. If not, go back, rewind the video and pause it. But let's get rid of this. And we are going to talk about the wow moment of the book. And you're going to find out more about it as you read that last section. So where it says name of the novel, make sure you write the name of the novel, which is May Be. And the first box talks about who. Now I am going to write down in this first section. So when you read your entire, the last part, do your last journal entry, then you're going to go back and do this. Okay? So this whole section is for pages, just so you know, and we're all thinking the same thing, 198 to 225, okay? So make sure complete both journal entries, then go back and do this. So who was in the scene? So in other words, who was all in this section? Now, so far, we have May, we have John Chapman, and there are going to be 3 other people. That's up to you to find those 3. Okay? Then we go across in the middle box. It talks about, and this is probably the biggest one, what? Like what happens in this scene? Okay? So we have here, we have May is walking home, or trying to walk home. John Chapman finds and helps May. Now that's where I left off, but you are going to read the rest of the section. So you should be able to find 3, 4, and 5. You should be able to find 3 more things. Then we look at when. Now this is just one point here because there's really only one answer to that, and I'll help you with that. In the novel, when in the novel does this happen? It happens towards the end. Okay, and then we look over here. Why? Why is this scene so memorable? You need to have 3 things here. I will give you one. Why is this scene so memorable? Because I guess May finally gets her reward for her determination. It just seems like every day was such a miserable struggle for her. And every day she's trying hard, and this goes wrong, and that goes wrong, and she's all alone. There's no hope. Finally, something happens that worked out for her. So for me, I'm going to say May's persistence. I mean, she kept trying, never gave up, helps her. And I don't know. I mean, I know that she has those issues about dealing with school, but I can bet after, and again, I want you to read that last section. After going through something like this, I don't think some teacher telling her that she's not that smart is really going to bother her that much because she knows that she can handle things, obviously, if she can handle this. So, and not saying that that's right for the teacher to say that, but I think this is really going to build May's confidence, and it's going to help her not to get too rattled or upset if someone questions her. And then finally, where? Where does the scene take place? And I'm going to say it takes place on the prairie. between the Sadi and May's home. Because that's kind of where she's at. All right, so your responsibility, I pretty much did, we did when and we did where. I did 2 of these for what, you need to do 3 more. For who, you need to do 3 more. And for why, you need to do 2 more. Okay? I'm excited. Read this last section. It's so good. And we'll talk more about maybe next time. Thanks.